Believe it or not, this is actually going to be about gaming. Here's an Xbox 360. The Xbox 360, I do have problems with it, obviously, because it's not open hardware. It's also owned by Microsoft. I'm not very happy about that either. I also don't like the way they license software rather than sell it as far as the Xbox is concerned. But it is actually, amazingly, actually better than the Xbox One in the sense that it is less controlling. Because Microsoft appeared to be moving on to what they wanted to do for a long time, was not actually to let people own their games, but actually to let people rent them. Because they do things like you can't pass the games on unless you've been friends on Xbox Live, I think, for 30 days or more. It potentially spies on you because of the Kinect sensor, which can pick up heart rate, conversations, and facial expressions, movement, and so on. And I can see the functional value of that, but it doesn't seem like a very good development, particularly if you have to make an effort to turn it off. And so, not really very happy with the Xbox One at all. And okay, these may be rumours, but what I think Microsoft might be doing there is coming up with a position which is very unpopular, because they've got a fallback position which is less unpopular. They just want to see how much they can get away with, is what I'm thinking. I'm not actually very happy with the Xbox 360. I'm not happy with Sony hardware either, although amazingly we're now in a position where Sony hardware is better than Microsoft hardware in that respect, because Sony are actually being less controlling, which is pretty astonishing, because I've always felt like Sony are total control freaks, along with Apple, by the way. And also, we've obviously got the Wii. Happier with the Wii than either with Sony stuff or Xbox or Microsoft stuff. But as far as Windows 8 was concerned, I have the rather unpopular opinion that I actually thought it was quite nice. Now, the reason why I think Windows 8 is nice is that it has lower system specifications, which means that you can use hardware for longer. Perhaps Microsoft had the idea that because there was a recession on, people were not going to be able to afford to buy new PCs, and so they were going to have less demanding operating systems, because they realised people were not going to buy new PCs, but they might buy a new operating system. The Xbox One basically contradicts all of this, because the Xbox One is more about controlling. It's also very expensive, and it's not backwards compatible. So during the middle of a recession, Microsoft is somehow expecting people to buy a whole new load of games, a new console which is more expensive because it's like a home entertainment system, I suppose. But the thing is that we already have those. We don't need something else that does it, and we also don't need something that if you've got an unreliable internet connection, all your games are going to stop working. All of that is rather peculiar, and what it reminds me of is the sin of usury, because St. Augustine once said that the reason that usury is wrong, that is charging interest, is that you shouldn't charge people to purchase something and then charge them for using it. And what's happening with licensing of games is that Microsoft are charging people for the use of the games, as well as charging people for the games themselves. That's what a licensing model is all about, really. And that is usury. So this actually applies more widely, because it applies, for example, to banking. But I also wanted to make another point. I really hope, and I don't know whether this is true or not, and I'd like you to tell me if it is, that somewhere out there is open hardware for games consoles, because that's really needed. I was a gamer a long time ago, and at the time it was possible for people to write their own games more easily. It was possible to write them obviously on much simpler hardware, but they were just as enjoyable. Colossal Cave is a whole world to explore. If you like this video, please rate, comment and subscribe and share. Please tell me if I've got anything wrong, and if you don't dislike this video, please tell me why, so I can improve, and I'll see you tomorrow.